be waking up and having nightmares about kids, about something that she didn't do. And I will say this, I remember that I worked, I never had a life when I was working for the local authority. I worked day, night, evening. I was falling asleep with my laptop in the bed. I was, when I was on annual leave, I was writing case notes all the way to the airport.
Yeah.
When I was on holiday, I had my work phone. I had my work phone on. I was checking WhatsApp to see if my kids are all right. Oh, I wonder if she's gone missing. I wonder if she's let Mr. back in the house when I told her, don't do that. I begged her, if you do that, I cannot stop management escalating to PLO. I wonder if she's gone and, you know, I wonder if she's gone back to S working because such and such has kicked her. You know, there's a lot of things that happens. And I just think that sometimes, you know, there are people.
I think I would have been very much like you because it's just like you don't know how to switch off or you can't switch off. I would have been exactly the same if I pursued to become a social worker. I would have been exactly the same. But I just want to once again thank you so much because we do welcome social workers on my platform, and I know it would be the same on Karen's platform as well. I really do appreciate you coming up, and I feel I'm so sorry if you felt
no, it's okay. I mean,
I also do want to apologise myself.
Can I finish, please?
Okay.
Can I finish, please, Paul? Can I finish, please, Paul? Can I finish? Because you're interrupting me.
Sorry,
please.
I just wanted to apologise.
No, but I just want to finish what I'm saying. So sorry. I just want to say, you know, I really do appreciate the fact you've come on tonight, and at the end of the day, we do need more social workers coming on here. Whether, you know, like yourself, you've eloquently spoke about how passionate you feel about with your families, your children that you work with, and I'm very, very much appreciative of that. So you know, once again, thank you so much, and you know, I really do appreciate the fact you've taken the time out to come on here tonight. Thank you so much.
If you don't mind, Beth, I'd also like to say, oh my, you will always be welcome on mine, and you will always be respected as you are on Beth's. I appreciate what you said, and you struck a chord with me straight away when you said my children. I've worked with some, I've said this always, and I will continue to say it. I've worked with some really good social workers, and I know some very good social workers. Unfortunately, I know some very bad ones as well. I love the way you've spoken from the heart.
I mean, that's all I can do, Karen. That's all I can't do anything and be anything else other than.
Don't let anybody ever, you know, if you go on a live and everyone comes at you, just leave.
I mean, I've never been. So I've never been.
Could I just say something? Could I just say something, please?
It depends on how you're going to handle it.
Well, I would like to apologise for your misunderstanding of my questioning being as inappropriate. That's not the way I intended it. It was I was just asking simple questions. I might have missed some bits. There was nothing negative towards my questioning at all. I'm sorry that it might have been perceived that way. But the way you all came at me was very, very negative. And let me just finish. I didn't mean it in any way. I missed some bits maybe at the beginning. That's why I was asking. I thought I'm contributing to the conversation by developing the questions a bit further. But I don't know if it was discussed or not. I was just asking just some questions. I just wanted to know.
You came across like if you were interrogating, if I'm honest.
Yeah, you were
sorry about that. I was just asking. You were
bombarding.
Question. I just wanted to find out some information if she ever felt any pressure
and that's
or some other stuff.
That's fine.
She said she received a child protection plan, so I was wondering. She could be Bernardo's, working on Bernardo's. They overlook child protection plans as well. I know how the situation works. I was just asking some questions. It wasn't meant to be negative.
Paul, that's fine. It's fine to ask questions, but if you're going to ask a question, allow the person the time and the space and the outlet to actually answer your question. I just found you a bit like you were just ramming before I could even answer. your question, you were coming at me from different angles, and I just thought, like, what is the motive here? Because if you just listen with your ears and close your lips, you might learn something.
Exactly.
No, I understand. But when I ask this, you know, I believe it's pretty straightforward.
Well, moving
question.
forward, Paul. Moving forward, I hope you've learned something. Okay, from that you need to exercise caution in future.
Paul, what my advice to you would be, I agree with the host. I agree with Omai. You came across as interrogating. If you asked me those questions in the same way about my previous work, you probably would have got a lot worse answer from me than you did from Omai. So she did very well, to be fair.
Karen, I'm still registered. I can't respond in the way that I would have responded had I not been on social work being registered.
Well, all I can tell you,
I'm still a professional, so I have to keep it professional.
Well, I also am registered, right? But I'm telling you, I'm honest enough to say, if he'd spoken to me like that, he would have got the raw end of it.
Right.
But he's apologised. We'll move on. Men do
move on. Exactly.
Foster care, I know foster care reform wants to ask you something before you go, Omai.
Okay.
No, I just wanted to say, because, you know, you talk about caseloads. I'm a care leaver. I'm currently under the leaving care service.
Okay.
I was a former relevant child. And when I was on child protection, my social worker had 28 cases, all of which were on child protection cases. So it had to be visited every 10 days, unannounced visits. So she couldn't even plan and schedule things because they all had to be unannounced. And it was a massive caseload. And like Karen was saying about, you know, being welcome on people's pages, my page is a lot about my journey in the care system and things. And, you know, social workers are welcome on there. I've banned people before for generalising and saying that all social workers are that.
Yeah.
It's not the case, you know. And I was going to say to someone in the comments, because they thought we were bashing social workers. No one's bashing social workers, you know. Social workers do get a bad rep, and there are bad social workers, but there are also good ones. I've had both good and bad, and I've seen a lot of different things in the system. I've seen some awful managers, especially in the leaving care team. And, you know, I guess what I was trying to explain in the comments, but was hard to explain with the character limit, is it's important that we recognise, you know, good and bad social work practice, and that's
absolutely.
That's what we're doing in this live. And, you know, listening to you, it shows how much you care as well. And, you know, but yeah, I also just wanted to explain for the person in the comments who thought we were bashing social workers that we're not. We're talking about the good and the bad. We're talking about how the system fails families, children, and the social workers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know if you heard, Omai, but there's a new report. It's only an interim report at the minute, but I've only posted it tonight. But it's the APPG. It's made up of parliamentary MPs, House of Lords, various charities, social workers, whatever. And it's an interim report that's come out about all the problems that there currently are within the system and family court.
Okay.
I put it up on my page if you want to go and have a read.
Thank you. I'll have a read.
I will warn you, it's 44 pages long.
That's nothing.
Yeah, well, for some people they'll have a meltdown. I guarantee they won't read it all. But I posted it. I have admitted on here tonight that I haven't really studied the contents, but I've had a quick perusal over it. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you think of it as well, because there's a lot in there about professionals not being trained or qualified in appropriate areas, and that includes the police. They haven't just picked on social workers.
I mean, I will say that I don't think that the course, the actual social work degree, I guess for the ones who are older and qualified, it was the DIPSWA, it was the Diploma in Social Worker.
Yeah, that's it, diploma, yeah, in some health and social care.
It was 2 years, that was it, 2 years, do 2 years and then you're done, and now it's 3 years. And when I studied, you had to do your 30-day placement in your first year, your 70-day in your second, and your 100-day in your final. And now it's it's just you do placements in your second year and your third year. So 70 day in the second year and 100 days in your final year, or maybe 100 days each, I think. And
yeah, you've got to do your ASYE as well.
And then you've got to do your ASYE. However, when you are a student, you're not always guaranteed to have statutory placements. So you're not always going to be allocated a placement in children's services or adult services. So you're not going to always get a placement where you're working in early help or MASH or access and assessment or children need or children with disabilities. And so what happens is that you may then become qualified and you've got no statutory experience.
Yeah.
Then you apply for your ASYE, and not everybody is able to secure an ASYE because what most local authorities tend to do is they tend to then take on the last cohort of student social workers that they had, and I guess like the ones that didn't have statutory experience, they either find a job or find a social work job, or but they don't have the statutory experience, and then you go in and then you're newly qualified, and then you're doing your ASYE and you're told you're given a protected caseload. That's a lie. You're not. Maybe I don't know, 30%, but for quite a lot, ASYE means assessed year of supported employment. So it's basically your first year postgraduate. So it's like you're newly
like a
qualified.
probation year.
Yeah. But the course itself, the modules on the course, I mean, they talk to you, I guess they refer to it as like, toxic trio, like, domestic violence, substance misuse, mental health. But I can tell you now, there is nothing on that course that will prepare you for when you walk through those local authority doors and when you're out there in the real world.
In the real world. Yeah.
It is not like, no one even teaches you what to do on your first home visit. On your first home visit, maybe you might do a joint home visit, and then you might, observe how the qualified social worker interacts, but no one tells you, like, if you have to go and do a visit on your own, like what to say to them.
What to expect,
how to engage with them, how to build that rapport. There's you're not taught those practical skills. And I guess like you do your placement, but it depends where your placement is, and it depends on the manager that you've had when you've been on placement. And one thing I do think is I came out, I was qualified, and then I went straight into child protection. I will hold my hands up and say that I did not have statutory experience, but when I was qualified, I interviewed, funny enough, tooting my own horn here, everywhere that I applied for, I got an interview and I got a job offer, and I made it clear that I wanted to go into child protection.
I can see why.
Thank you. I made it clear I wanted to go into child protection, and they were like, "Whoa, you've not had statutory experience, but you want to do child protection." I'm like, "Yeah, I want to go. I've been, advised that if I'm going to do my ASYE, and I'm thinking it's going to be protective, that the best thing to do is to dive straight in and do ASYE and do child protection." And they were like, "Okay, yeah, we'll see." Got the job, and they gave it to me. Now, I nearly drowned, and I nearly drowned not because I wasn't, because no newly qualified social worker is going to be ready to walk into SIN CP and like case hold confidently, because you're newly qualified. So it does rely on your manager to give you regular supervision, to check in with you, to give you a caseload that is manageable, to give you reflective learning time, to give you the space to go on training, to have like team meetings to talk you through, to recognize when a case is complex so that you can joint work with a qualified social worker in the team. And I had more child protection cases than children need cases. I had to give an emergency protection order within like my first month. I had to give evidence for an EPO. Do you know how hard it is to give evidence for an EPO? I don't think people understand that it's not easy, even when you're qualified, to get on there and to get an EPO granted, emergency protection order. It's not that simple, because that child or that family has to be in imminent risk. That means that if you leave this child in this home or this mum, there's going to be a serious injury or death. It's just that. But I do think...
Can I just ask a quick question, though, while you just said that?
Yeah.
But what about in some cases? Because, I mean, I've based my platform on personal experience as a grandmother that had her 2 grandchildren removed like many, I'm not going to say mine is unique, in the most appalling, horrendous way. And, you know, we had the social worker turn up, funny, incidentally, all of it was caught on a live, an Instagram live. And the social worker turned up without any paperwork and was demanding that my granddaughter was handed over. We had social workers in on the live that had to put her in her place because of the way that she conducted herself at the door with the police. So in some cases, you know, and this is partly why we're having lives like this, because, like we've said already, there are good and bad in every profession. You know, we know that there's good and bad in police. There's good and bad in social services. There's good and bad in any job that you do, but we have to try to weed out the bad ones.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
You know? So
absolutely.
The only reason why I wanted to interject specifically at that time is that, you know, it is known that some of these social workers do abuse their positions. They do not follow the correct procedures.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that end up giving people like yourself a bad name.
Yeah, I know, because
I just jump in real quick?
I've been like, I posted a video and then you're a child snatcher. You're a child snatcher. How much did you get paid to remove a child? And how much not knowing that I went to every single family member that I could to try and get that.
If you take a look at my page, you'll see. I live in Milton Keynes, and we went viral. My daughter's case went viral for Milton Keynes, based on you know, my granddaughter and my grandson being removed from Milton Keynes family. We were known as the Milton Keynes family. Thankfully, my grandchildren have been returned back.
That's really good.
But it's time that they will never get back. My daughter will never get that time back.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to say is,
how long were they removed
for a total of 7 months.
Oh my goodness.
7 months.
Steph, did they write inaccurate information on, you know, when your grand...
Yes, they did. They did.
So, you know,
they did. And it all stems from, to just give you a quick background of it, is that my daughter took my grandson just to the hospital with a nasal blockage. That was it. And it turned into a witch hunt, literally. And that's the God's honest truth. But if you have a look on my page, you'll see it.
Yeah.
A lot of videos were posted on my YouTube channel as well. It's real life. So it's all there.
I'm going to go...
Can I...
Yeah.
You were saying earlier, like you know, the EPO statements, right? Okay. There's a lot of inaccurate information that is written about the parents, right? And as social workers, we write the statements, okay? We write the statements, but then you could have a manager, unless you're not a strong social worker, will tell you to change it, to say this and say that. And you have to be strong enough to say, no, I'm not going to write that. If your name on it, is you that is giving evidence, then cool. Yeah? I think back in your case as well, like with your grandchild, that's what I was asking. Obviously, you got the subject access request, you saw all the court reports. Is that statement that was written to take your grandchildren, there was probably a lot of inaccurate information. There
was a lot of copy and paste, very poorly written.
They put that in front of the judge, and this child is at significant risk, because the only reason that we will be initiating care proceedings into the Children's Act is that child is at risk. And it's either those, you know, those 3 categories, isn't it? It's physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse. And vast majority of kids, right, get taken out on emotional abuse. Yeah? It never used to be the case back in the day when I'm old school, basically. So basically, things have changed, and it's more kids now are coming into the system. And it's really hard for the parents to prove that they're not emotionally abusing their kids. Yeah? It's just statements that is made and assumptions. You know, a lot of the things, you know, and honestly, there's a lot of good social workers, like our sister was telling us.
Exactly, there are.
And they do leave the profession. They leave it. They move on. You know? They get out of it. Yeah.
Beth, I just wanted to say this before I go, because I'm knackered now. But Karen, I know you were sharing about the report that you was talking about, and it gives some recommendations. I think one of the things that I would recommend, even before reading the report, is that I think that there needs to be a sort of like a dedicated, well-trained, well-equipped child protection team where you can't sort of work in work in a child protection team unless you're like 5 years post-qualified or something, and you have X, Y, and Z. I don't think, because I think at the 5 year mark, you've had enough experience, you've held enough cases, complex cases, that you should know what you're doing. You know what threshold is. You've got a good, strong analysis of risk. You know when to escalate, you know how to advocate, you can work, you know, all of that. But I don't think that anything between newly qualified and 5 years.
Tell flowery money. Flowery words.
Sorry?
Can I just add to
What was that?
Foster care reform, go on.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was just going to say, I don't know. I don't know if you agree, but I think that social workers, especially on child protection, should also be given training, whether it be part of like the degrees or some other training on things like, you know, psychology, but also wealth inequality, because I've seen so many people mistake poverty for neglect.
Because the thing is, when someone had said in here, like, quite a lot of the cases in court are for emotional abuse, I found that emotional abuse is actually quite difficult to sometimes prove in court, and it's just like the generic term is normally like neglect, because neglect is quite broad. But I think that the changes needs to begin with the course. It's the degree, and potentially maybe it shouldn't be 3 years, maybe it should be 4 years with an extension of like, these are the areas that you can specialize in. So, you know, like you have like the postgraduate certificate, potentially there should be an add-on where if you want to specialize in child protection, you need to then go on to do another 1 year in child protection that then covers everything under that umbrella. And I know that's, you know, that costs, you know, I guess for Parliament, it costs a lot of money, for the Department of Education, it costs a lot of money. But these are people's lives. Yeah, these are children.
Definitely.
These are parents. These are vulnerable parents. They're vulnerable children. They need the support. They need someone that's going to come in and that is strong enough, confident enough, skilled enough to just say, okay, let's work together. This is what we're going to do. However, on the flip side, I know there's a lot of like talk about social workers writing incorrect documentation and taking a stand and lying. I have seen families lie and be dishonest. And it's like, why are you doing this when I am right? I've got your back. I'm knocking heads with people in the office.
It works both ways. There will be some that
You're out here. You're embarrassing me. Why have you got this? Why have I come for an unannounced visit and I'm seeing shaving cream and boxes on the radiator? You've had 2 kids removed. This is the third child you've got this third child that the local authority is saying, okay, supervision order, they're going to remain in your care. But you've got the guy in the house that led to the removal of the 2 other kids. Like, what are you doing? You know, or you put them in, you not put them in, but you refer them to a children and family assessment or a substance misuse residential, and you know you do everything. You come out, and then within 6 months there's a lot of, I think it does go both ways, and like I guess there are social workers. I haven't experienced it. I don't know. Like I can vouch and say my friends are good. You know, they say, show me your friends, show me your character. My friends are good. My colleagues are good. And they will call people out.
Well, we need more good ones, and hopefully we'll get there eventually.
But equally, there are there are parents that aren't honest.
The irony, oh my, is that what you just said you'd recommend is exactly, and there's loads of people on this live that will tell you that that is what I harp on about all the time. It's like you read my mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's exactly. You see, what I want to see. So, for example, in my line of work, for me to get where I had to get, I had to take a lot of internal examinations as well. Yeah. And it's not enough just to take a test. You had to show field experience. Yeah.
Who's delusional? Sorry, I had to interject. But who's delusional?
I think she's I don't know, maybe a care leaver. I think she's referred to me as delusional, and you know, it's fine. It's fine. You know, so I can live with, you know, when you know who you are and you know your work and you know that you're good, someone telling me that I'm delusional or a child snatcher or like, I know that's not me. So, you know what I mean? Like, I know the work and I know the dedication to my children and families. Call me what you want. Like, I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
It's
well,
funny
once again, I thank you so much for coming up here. And like I said, if I have a live again or Karen has a live, you are going to be most welcomed. Because we need social workers to come up here, whether we agree or disagree. Your opinions matter. And with that, when we're having conversations like this, it then gives us the opportunity to see it from your perspective and vice versa. So it is very much needed. So, you know, for those of you in the comments that may not disagree with it, it is better to have social workers on here to give us their perspective and what they believe, just as the same way that it allows us to. That's what a debate is about, okay? So once again, I thank you so much for coming up here, and you will always be welcome on my live.
And Dagger, she's gone.
Oh no, I'm not gone. I'm here, but I keep saying I'm gonna go, and then I go into another.
What was the other lady called? Was it Dagon?
Yeah, Dagon. She's
Dagon, you've disappeared. You're always welcome as well.
Yeah, she's a friend of mine. Dagon is. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Okay, Beth. Thank you so much.
Exactly. Know.
Oh.
Go on.
Go on.
No, sorry, I was just a bit, to be honest, I don't mean any offence or anything to anyone. I was just a little bit, and I don't even know what the word is for it. It's just the assumption that because someone was being not very nice towards a social worker, that means they're a care leaver, kind of bothered me.
No, I think that I read. No. I was reading the comments and I was like, I think she may have been a care leaver, or maybe I got her name mixed up with someone else that said that they wanted to join because they're a care leaver and they wanted. I don't know. I was just reading in the chat. I'm not going to make the assumption that somebody is a care leaver.
Okay, yeah, no, I just wanted to address that because I'm a care leaver and
I think, Beth, it's my time to go.
No problem. Thank you so much.
My patience
and very
is
much appreciated once again.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a good evening, everybody.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Good night. Good night. Thank you. Good night. Yeah.
See, this is how it's done, Beth. Do you know what I mean? It's about, you know, do you know what? She struck me straight away when she said, my families. The personal emotion in that told me that she cared.
Yeah.
And that is what these young social workers are lacking.
Yeah, I totally agree. I really do appreciate the fact that she came up. I really do, sincerely.
And I'll also say, a lot of the problems with the old school is that they've learned a lot of bad habits. And what happens is they're so used to doing it, it becomes a routine that they've lost their emotion as well. Do you know what I mean? And it's reaching that middle. But the irony that she would say, her recommendation, which is what I've been saying all along, that the current degree does not qualify them for the work that they are doing. It's not up to standard. It's not.
I agree with that, and you know, I agree with what she was talking about. I just wanted to address the care leaver thing because I know it probably it was a miscommunication. I just wanted to address it because, you know, I'm a care leaver and I don't have any issue with social workers.
Honestly, foster care, I will always.
Yeah, I don't think it was directed to you. It was somebody else that made was making a comment that I was reading, and I think she read it as well. So, but at the end of the day, you know, my platform, very much like Karen, I appreciate everybody that comes up on my platform, as long as nobody is rude and as long as people are respectful by listening as well as talking, because you can't have a two-way conversation if you're not prepared to listen. And that is one of the things that I will not tolerate on my platform. I want my platform to be a safe place where people can feel comfortable to come up and talk, and that is the way that it's going to be. If anybody has any issues with that, then obviously my platform is not the right platform for you to be on. But those are my rules, and how my rules is going to be. It's as simple as that.
Second that for my life as well. Second it.
Yeah, exactly.
And respect. So yeah.
I think I don't know about how you're feeling, Beth, but I think that'd be a good point to end on. It's up to you.
I was just about to say the same thing. I think I've given my all for tonight. It is now 1:05. As always, I wish to thank every single person that's joined me on my live tonight. Appreciate you all. You know, at the end of the day, it got a bit heated slightly, but we were able to turn it back. Apologies were made, apologies were accepted, and that's what I like, to end it on a very good note. But once again, thank you all. Stay safe out there. You know, the fight still continues. We have to be fighting for change. We have to be fighting to be the voices for our children. And, you know, we just have to continue. There's no backing down. The percentages of children being removed is increasing as we speak. And we need to continue to come together as a village, as I would say, as a community, in order to bring the change. So on that note, I thank you all so much. I really do appreciate each and every one of you in the comments, and those of you that have joined me on the live. And on that note, I wish you peace, love and blessings until the next time. Good night, all.
Thank you, Beth. You're an absolute superstar.